We have an update on a vacated WWE title, plus another top star from Raw seems to have been injured, and a Cody Rhodes heel turn has been confirmed by Cody Rhodes. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Noam Dar just cannot catch a break. Gutted to hear just the other day that he has sustained an injury. Consequently, the NXT Heritage Cup was vacated once again. First of all, best wishes to Noam Dar.
Goes without saying, doesn't it?
Just came back to split up the metaphor and then suffered an injury that's taken him out of the game once again. Nothing but best. So yesterday on NXT, it was all about crowning a new Heritage Cup champion. It was Stax and Tony, the family divided, fighting for the Heritage Cup. And we have a new Heritage Cup champion.
We do a chaotic conclusion to the match as Luca Crucifino is trying to fight off Stax's entourage, and then he accidentally clobbers Tony D'Angelo in the head with a bucket. It gives Stax the victory and, as a result, the Heritage Cup. Good for Stax. Genuinely good for Stax. Sending all our best to Noam, but I've grown to quite like Stax. I think he's improved a lot since his time in NXT. I think he's a guy who's just getting better and better. And for him to have a singles title, yeah, good for him.
Yeah, his second title in the company. He was a former tag champion with Tony, but first time on his own holding a title, mainly thanks to a stray bouquet. But regardless, I think Stax is going to have some fun with this, with the Heritage Cup. I do often wonder, like I love the fact that it's the Heritage Cup. It's a throwback to sort of NXT UK and by proxy the World of Sport days. Stax is essentially the new rollerball Rocco. But I do wonder.
Been saying that for years, Tom.
Do you know what? We've all been saying. Even rollerball Rocco's been saying that. But I feel that like maybe is a cup too cumbersome as an item? Because traditionally we all have titles and championship belts and stuff, and that's fine. And I love the idea of mixing it up and trying new things. Is a cup too cumbersome?
I prefer a cup to some of the things we've seen. I'm thinking Progress. Do you remember Progress? Had the staff and they had the shields.
Yes.
Yeah. I know the cup works, doesn't it? You win a cup on Sports Day. Everybody knows that it's an honour to have a cup with you. You know what? It's one of the titles that I was really surprised to see stick around following the closure of NXT UK. And I don't know. I think it's just a nice sort of lower mid card thing. It gives a reason to get certain people on TV and makes those storylines feel a little bit bigger. And I think this is a good use for it here.
That's a good shout. Speaking of titles, a boring old belt is going to be fought for at WWE Evolution. We found out yesterday who JC Jane is going to defend her NXT Women's title against in July.
It's going to be a good one, this one. Jordan Grace is going to be taking on JC Jane at Evolution. I think this could be an absolute banger, and I expect Jordan Grace to win this one.
I wonder whether this is Jordan Grace's crowning moment.
I think it will be.
I feel like JC Jane won that title when the decision was made to call up Stephanie Vaquer and Julia very quickly. Yep. So I feel that whilst JC Jane is doing some good stuff as women's champion, I feel like this is a transitional reign.
I think everybody expected that as well. And it makes me feel a little bit bad to say that because I think JC Jane's great. But I think as soon as people saw the belt go on her, people expected that title reign not to last too long. At the same time, if they do go the other way and JC Jane picks up the win here, I think that's like a real kind of reign-defining moment for her. And if she manages to beat Jordan Grace, who everybody's so hot on, and everybody expects to be a future women's world champion at some point, that'll surely happen. I think JC Jane beating her could really solidify her as, hey, she's the top of the NXT women's division. I think that would help her a lot.
One of those moments where you go, you expected me to lose, suck a duck, I'm still here. You know, that would be quite a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
That Evolution. We'll see.
I think she'll lose.
Yeah, but I think she'll lose as well. But that is some consistency on the Evolution card. A card that has been ripped up as a result of the injury to Liv Morgan. She suffered an injury on Raw just last week. And according to numerous reports, this blew up a lot of plans in terms of how we're going to see the card go down, because we're going to see Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella, or possibly Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus the Bellas for the tag team titles. And there's a knock-on effect with this match being scrapped that means that they're making a lot of changes to Evolution. So we know one match so far. But Liv Morgan's not the only star from Raw that has suffered an injury. One happened this past Monday, it seems, or at least they were written off this past Monday.
They were. This sucks. Chad Gable is out of action right now. So you'll remember on Monday, Penta snapping Gable's arm in a backstage segment, and this has happened according to bodyslam.net for a good reason, saying sources have confirmed to us at bodyslam.net that the angle with Penta and Chad Gable was done because Gable is currently dealing with an undisclosed injury. The segment was put together to write him off or reduce his workload temporarily while he recovers. No timeline has been given. No details on the exact nature of the injury have been shared internally beyond undisclosed, but it was significant enough to require the change. So this is really, really gutting. Chad Gable has been working his absolute arse off. You think back to the Worlds Collide followed by Money in the Bank, and Chad did not. He didn't. Oh God, I've got to bloody suspend this, but I've got a kayfabe bit here, hadn't he? Right, you know what I'm right. El Grande Americano. He did double duty.
Why are you mentioning El Grande Americano?
I know. The comments are going to be full of it. He pulled double duty. He worked his arse off in the match with Vikingo. It was an absolute banger. And then the Money in the Bank match, some of the spots there, some of the bumps that man was taking, even though it's a different man, were absolutely bonkers. And you know what? He's never half-assed it. He's the absolute bollocks, and I hope he's not away from our screens for too long. Let's put kayfabe aside. What does this mean for El Grande Americano moving forward?
Well, he's the Speed Champion. So that in itself might present some... But the thing is, because of the way that the Speed Championship occurs, he won't really have to defend that title for a while, because chances are there might be, and forgive me if I don't know exactly, there might be a tournament about to begin to determine the next number one contender. So at least there's like a respite of a few weeks before they can make that decision, I would guess.
Yeah, it depends how serious the injury is, how long he's going to be away. I'm really, really gutted about this, genuinely, because I think Chad is the man, and I've been enjoying everything that him and El Grande Americano have been doing on our screens. Do they put somebody else in the mask?
Oh, I mean, Ludwig Kaiser's just hanging around, and I did see some people saying, he's El Grande Americano. Look, that'd be funny, just to suddenly swap him out and go, I was him the whole time, what are you talking about?
I think they should do it with Omos and just totally no-sell it completely. Don't reference the fact that they maybe look a little bit different. I think that could be really funny.
Would be amazing. I love it. El Grande Americano, my second favourite character in wrestling today.
Go on, who's your first?
Matthew Matix. I met him on Saturday. He's a mathematician and a wrestler. He hands out homework to the class.
Right.
And so not the class, the audience. Mm-hmm. And his nickname is the Common Denominator, and he's from Oxbridge. Matthew Matix.
Solid.
Shout
out to you, Matthew Matix.
Got to work with him in Nebula Wrestling on Saturday. 10 out of 10. No notes. We are stands for Matthew Matix and El Grande Americano. Get well soon. Cody Rhodes flavoured news to end on. Remember when The Rock went on that Pat McAfee show, started banging on about, I said to Cody, come on, be a heel. And he was like, nah, and I think he's going to be a heel in a minute. And we all thought, it's just Rock just banging on. Well, a heel turn for Cody Rhodes might not be far away. And we know that there's not much citation needed because the source on this is Cody Rhodes himself.
Indeed, in an interview with Kay Adams, Cody said, I do think we're probably at the tail end of it, talking about playing a nice guy in WWE, because there's only so much someone like you can do. I would love to do it till the end of my career, but there's only so much. At a certain point, they want to see somebody else. I get that, and that's where you have to change as a character. Cody brought up The Rock's comments about wanting that Cody Rhodes heel turn, saying, if The Rock had his way, I would have been changed already. So I think he sees something that maybe I don't see, and that's a very smart individual. So maybe I follow his lead, maybe not. So this is really, really interesting. He did continue saying about how long we're going to have babyface Cody Rhodes. He said, I think you have a good solid year, maybe even 3 years. Again, I'm not changing until I'm changed, if that makes any sense. So don't expect this immediately, but it's certainly being thought of in the mind of Highlander Cody Rhodes.
And this is the thing, the kind of that heel turn that we saw, that we've already compared to Homelander, and
I said Highlander, didn't I?
I didn't want to say it.
Great film.
Who wants to live forever? It's all right, you leave him soon. It's that comparison to Homelander that before all the Rock stuff happened, that people were really getting into, where like he was doing just slightly heelish things, like winning with the crossroads on the chair in that match with Kevin Owens. You know, a couple of backstage interactions that came across as a little less than warm and friendly. And like there is such an easy opportunity for someone like that to go, I haven't changed, I'm still the great guy. Yeah. You're welcome, love the wrestling and just be the worst human being possible. Like, there's such magic to still be made. But then, as he says there, you know when it's a good heel, when online people go, oh, you should have turned heel, it's rubbish. But then you kind of got him, is what he's saying there.
Yep.
And there's sometimes elements of that where it's true, sometimes elements of that where it's no. I think the issue that we have as wrestling fans now is if a heel has done really well, we cheer the heck out of them. And if a face is done really badly, we boo the heck out of them.
I'm so glad to have been wrong on this, because I expected people to really turn on Cody Rhodes way sooner. In fact, they haven't. Listen to the pops that Cody Rhodes is still getting week by week. And he's so over as a babyface. I thought people would have tired of that by now. And it's good that Cody's thinking that he wants to get to that heel turn before the fan base does tire of him as a babyface, because he's still so unbelievably over. And I think they're not gonna wait too long as they've done in the past. WWE aren't gonna wait too long. They're gonna do this. It's gonna be a big shock, and then we'll finally see High School Musical.
They want to recognise the end game before
that's it.
We get the quickening when it comes to Highlander, Cody Rhodes.
High School Musical, Cody Rhodes.
High School.
That's a gimmick. That's a good gimmick.
Because you know what? Because we are all in this together, as are you. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.